Yeah, a lot of this is, the eye of the tiger, just as they say in boxing. These guys need to have a lot of determination. They need to want to win. Wanting to win and willing yourself to win and using your energy as best as you can makes a big difference. Right here we had a yellow card for the fencer on the right. Yellow card was given because of turning and because of bumping into the opponent. We're not allowed to touch the opponent except for with the weapon. There's Mr. Bauder scoring a touch.
Now, that's something that I have just heard of for the first time tonight. Why don't you digress on what a yellow card is, how you can get one, how it can hurt your score, and interfere with the bout itself?
These are penalties, and there are three. We use 3 cards. There's a yellow card, there's a red card, and there's a black card. None of us, of course, want to see the black card. The black card means that fencer is expelled.
Okay, so go take me through each card and how I would get one, and what are the consequences of receiving such a card?
Some of the infractions for a yellow card, if you come to the beginning of the bout and your weapon does not conform to the rules, you can receive a yellow card. You can also receive a yellow card for turning your back such that your neck shows to your opponent. This is very dangerous. As a result, the fencer would receive a warning. There's Mr. Rosenberg putting the green light on, scoring a touch. A red card is if you do a yellow card. Means if you repeat an infraction. So in other words, if you come up to the strip with 2 weapons in a row that are bad, or if after having received a yellow card for turning, John, you turn again, then you would receive a red card, which would be a touch for your opponent, and that would be a penalty touch. Once again, the black card is only used in very extreme circumstances. It might happen if it's determined that there was cheating, if you are violent towards your opponent.
Okay, could you say, well, what do you mean, what type of cheating, what type of violence? Could you just digress a little bit more on that?
Certainly. The violence might be if I actually punched my opponent, if I acted in a manner which was not sportsmanlike. There's Mr. Bauder just raising his hands, folks. He's really frustrated. He really is having some problems with Mr. Rosenberg here. So violence, if I haul off and hit you, John, I'm going to get a black card. If I am abusive towards the director, if I use any swear at the director or act in a manner which is deemed to be inappropriate, I can receive a black card.
Black card then bounces you out of the competition, but does not prevent you from competing again, right? Or are you kicked out of fencing competition forever until the board decides otherwise?
No, it's just for that competition. Unless, of course, there's some real extreme circumstances, in which case an appeal could be made to expel someone for a year or something, but that almost never happens, John.
So do you have the John McEnroes in this sport that throw temper tantrums and that are constantly getting yellow, red, and black cards?
Oh, we certainly do. We have a lot of personalities. We have people who get very upset when they lose, and they have a hard time controlling themselves. As a result, they have a history of being, oh, Mr. Rosenberg defeating Mr. Bauder from Penn State University. And what a nice win for Mr. Rosenberg. There's a high five from Ron Miller, the coach at the University of North Carolina, shaking the hand of Mr. Bauder from Wayne State. Mr. Rosenberg's really got to be pleased about that bout, folks. That's a nice victory.
Yeah, David Rosenberg from North Carolina advances as he defeats Harald Bauder of Wayne State. Down on the strip to our right here, the Nittany Lions are still going at it. I can't see the other score. It looks like it's either 12 or 13-9. These two are fencers from Penn State. Nice move in there. Millett taking the touch there. It is a 13-10 match in favor of Millett.
Ben Millett looks like he's on the right, and he looks like he's in control of this match at the moment. He is fencing his teammate. It's important to note that these guys fence all the time, so it's disappointing to have to draw one another in the first bout of the final, but that happens. They don't have any control over who they draw. This just happens to be the luck of the draw. For our viewers, I'd encourage you to look at a single fencer. Watch one fencer. Watch the moves that they make. Watch how they move up and down on the strip. Watch what they're doing with their weapon hand. A lot of this is like cat and mouse. Oh, Mr. Millett scoring a nice touch. Gregor is frustrated here, really frustrated.
Yeah, Greg is, he's trailing now, and I believe it is 14-10, and Millett is one touch away from advancing to the semifinals as we have 8 fencers, and now we are weeding it out to 4. So we are seeing who will go into the gold medal match as such. And right now it is 14-10. In charge of this bout is Ben Millett over Gregory Gregor. Both fencers are from Penn State. And across the way, Hinkman, I believe, has an 11-8 lead now over Christopher Klaus. So Klaus's lead has evaporated, and now he trails by 3 touches to Hinkman. That is far across the way. Now right here in this one, though, that we're watching, it's 1 touch away now for Millett. Millett versus his teammate Gregor. Mixed feelings, I'm sure. And right there, double touch, and that will do it. The final score in this match is 15-11. It is Ben Millett who defeats his own teammate from Penn State, Gregor, and Millett goes to the quarterfinals. He is one of the 4 remaining fencers. Now, if we can go across the way, Pete, as you can see, it is 11-9. Harald Winkmann from Princeton is the fencer on the right of your screen as we look across the way, and Christopher Klaus from Princeton is on the left. So you have the 2 Princeton guys going at it.
Yes, just on the bout, we just watched 2 Penn State fencers. We now have 2 Princeton fencers fencing each other. These guys are teammates. They fence all the time in practice. It's not fun to have to fence one another in competition, but there they are, and it looks like it's a pretty good match at the moment, John.
Yep, Hinkman with a 2-touch lead. So if you see the red light light up, that means Hinkman, who's on the right, has scored a touch. If you see the green light light up, that means the fencer on the left. There's a touch for Hinkman. Now it's a 12-9 bout. Again, as Terrence mentioned, first 1 to 15 touches. 3 3-minute periods otherwise. And then they go to the sudden death format. Is that how they...
That's correct. That's correct, John. If at the end of the 3 3-minute periods the score is still tied, the fencers will enter sudden death, meaning that the next touch will win the bout.
Harald Winkmann on the right of your screen as Christopher Klaus gets adjusted on the left. Different types of masks, Terrence. I noticed that if I look at Winkmann's mask, it varies slightly from Klaus's.
There are different manufacturers that make different styles of equipment. There are certain specifications in terms of how strong the materials need to be, and they need to meet certain tests in order to qualify as competition equipment. But by and large, the equipment is all very, very safe, although stylistically it may differ slightly. One of the things that's always disappointed me, John, to be honest with you, is the fact that I have to wear a white uniform all the time. I think white looks nice, but I'd certainly like to maybe put on a sparkling red, maybe a blue. I'd like to maybe be the Andre Agassi of fencing, but at the moment we're pretty conservative and everyone wears white.
Well, that basically, I think, would throw off the eye. When you see these dazzling colors, it would be difficult maybe to land a touch. Almost, I guess the analogy I could use, as if you're sitting in the center field bleachers wearing white and everybody around you is wearing white and the pitcher's winding up to throw the ball and you see the ball coming out of this white mass of people in the stands. I know that they had that problem in Fenway Park here in Boston where they call it Tony Canigliaro's triangle, where they had to clear that up because people could not see the ball leaving the pitcher's hand. Now, to dress a hockey player, it costs about $350 from head to toe in order to go out there. What's it going to cost me? I'm going to get into fencing, say, tomorrow. I'm going to buy everything involved there. I know the shoes are $1.50, but what about everything else?
You're probably looking at close to almost $1,000 for a set of equipment, after a couple of weapons, shoes, jacket, mask, the pants that we wear. Once again, the material is either ballistic nylon. There are some other Kevlar, which is also a bulletproof material that is used. These materials are very expensive. As a result, the costs are high, but the equipment is very safe. Right now, we have finished the first 4 matches in the top 8, John. We now have, I believe, Mr. Rosenberg advancing, and Mr. Millett, Mr. Winkmann, and Mr. Ensign. Once again, that's Mr. Ensign, Mr. Winkmann, Mr. Millett, and Mr. Rosenberg.
I thought for a minute you said Mr. Ensign and Mr. Protein and Mr. Camel Globulin. No, anyways, we're down to the final 4 here in the men's épée competition. Well, we have a bunch of people to say thank you to, and we're going to do a little demonstration for you. But the people I'd like to thank is obviously our cameraman and director, Peter Boriskin. I'd like to thank Mike Mayer for helping us yesterday in the competition. Mr. Jack Malloy, the fine sports information director and associate athletic director here at Brandeis University. Barbara Bickford, and of course, Mr. Jeff Cohen, the athletic director. Brian Koval as well. Okay, Terrence, we're going to have a little bit of a demo as Pete pans over here. What's going to happen, and what do you want me to do? He's going to shish kebab me, folks, so watch out.
I'd like to start off by...
I'll run you through.
By maybe letting you take a little closer look at the weapon. I'm going to march forward with this weapon and explain the various parts of the weapon that you're looking at. Here I come, so watch carefully. Okay, now let's take a closer look at this weapon. This metal part right here is called the bell guard. This is the thing that protects my hand, John. This protects my hand. My hand sits right behind there. My opponent has a hard time hitting my hand because my hand's sitting right there behind it.
Turn around. Show us your grip there, Terrence. Why don't you face the other way so we can see the actual grip within the bell guard. Okay, now put your hand in there. How would you grip? How am I going to grip that? Am I going to grip this like this? I mean, it's very weird, folks. If you see the hand grip, it almost looks like a gun or one of those prodding pieces of metal you use to stoke the fire with to move logs about. How would you grip that now? I'll hold that for you.
Okay, it's an orthopedic grip. It happens to be left-handed. I'm not left-handed. What I'm going to do, this is hard to do. Let's try to do it maybe sideways. I'm going to stick my hand in here, putting my second finger and then my thumb, and then round my fingers around this little lip right there, John, and then my hands just fit comfortably there.
It's just floating. It's resting there. You're not
resting there. I really control the weapon with my first 2 hands. Now let's look at the tip of the weapon, John, because this is where this is the most important part of the weapon, because this is actually what scores the touch. This tip of the weapon, as you can see, looks a lot like a doorknob. Yeah, and I'll show you it from a couple of different angles. Here it is from a side. Here's the tip straight on. What happens is this tip gets, if you can hear that, let me just put it in the mic so folks can actually hear it. It actually makes a clicking sound. Remember we talked about a spring, John? Yeah. That click is that spring being depressed down inside of the weapon. When that spring gets depressed, that is the very thing that makes the light go off. That's the thing that completes the circuit to light the colored light.
That's when the spring is depressed, and around here in New England, we're depressed until spring. The winters are so horrible.
That's right, indeed. So when this gets depressed, that is when a touch is scored. And at the beginning of the bout, you'll see the director place a weight on top of the weapon, and they're just looking to see, is that spring pushing back up 750 grams. If it's not, then the opponent might have an unfair advantage.
But if it's not, you get a yellow card, right? And if you do it a second time, you're going to get a red card.
That's correct, John. John, you should be an official by this time.
So what happens now? You're in a fencing battle, okay, and your weapon is broken in your previous battle. Not your fault. You were going at it, and you don't know about it. You're resting there trying to catch a blow, and all of a sudden you're up again, and he comes in and he clicks you up. Yellow card. Now, if you only have 1 or 2 weapons with you, do you travel with 2 weapons? Do you travel with 1? What do you do in that situation? Can you borrow a teammate's, like, say, a hockey player could grab a stick from the bench once it's broken?
That's right. These fencers come to the tournament with probably at least 4 weapons, because a lot of the weapons will get damaged, they will break, and you want to make sure that you're well equipped so that equipment is not a factor in you losing a match, John.
Okay, you also mentioned about the measurement. Now, if I wanted to cheat against you, Terrence, and again, I don't mean to harp that I'm a dirty cheater, although don't ever play cards against me. If I wanted to cheat, if I could somehow make this an inch longer, I have a distinct advantage over you. So do you measure the length as well, or do you know it by sight as such?
Pretty much by sight. However, we will sometimes actually, if we think there's any question, if we think someone has a long blade, there is a test that we use to determine whether the length of the blade is within our specified rules.
So we're underway here, Terrence. The bout that we're looking at is Ensign, Dave Ensign from Yale on the right, versus Harald Winkmann, we believe, from Princeton.
That's correct. David Ensign is from Yale University. Once again, he has a very nice style. He's very relaxed. He's left-handed, folks. In fact, he was the one who let us use those weapons, John. We borrowed his weapons to do the demo just a minute ago. Right now, he's got Mr. Winkmann at the end of the strip. Oh, Mr. Winkmann getting out of a tight situation there, scoring a touch. That red light indicates that Mr. Winkmann has scored the first touch of this bout. This should be an excellent match. Both of these fencers are very smart, very capable fencers. We're going to see a lot of tactics. We're going to see a lot of smart fencing in this bout. It should be a good match.
Yeah, and on the strip adjacent to this, strip number 2, David Rosenberg from North Carolina is taking on Ben Millett from Penn State. So this one here, Ensign taking it to him. There's a double touch. Should make it a 2-1 score. Once again, Ensign from Yale on the right, Winkmann from Princeton on the left.
On the other strip, we'll just keep you informed. Right now, we're watching David Ensign on the right and Mr. Winkmann on the left from Princeton. In the other match, we have Mr. Rosenberg and Mr. Millett. It's got a little bit more physical of a bout on the other side. Right over here, we have two very calm and cautious fencers. They're gauging each other out. Remember, this is just like a duel. These fencers are vying for first blood, essentially.
Yeah, it is. It's something that you'd see out of the Middle Ages. A sword, a very noble weapon for man.
Yeah, too bad. Unfortunately, in this case, they're not fighting for maidens. They're fighting for egos. But sometimes I think that the difference between fighting for a maiden and fighting for ego is probably not that big.
In the end, you lose anyway. Ooh. And why don't we pan to the left side, check out this other one that's going on. This is David Rosenberg on the right, wearing 592. And as you can see, the charge of the Light Brigade, Ben Millett from Penn State. Oh, he's talking up a big game.
Yeah, what just happened there? Mr. Millett came at Mr. Rosenberg with a big attack. Mr. Rosenberg was able to parry or block that attack, John, and score with a repost. There's Mr. Millett going for the foot of Mr. Rosenberg. Remember, the entire body is target, folks. The entire body. Once again, if Mr. Rosenberg, who's on our right, scores a touch, we'll see the green light. If Mr. Millett scores a touch, we'll see the red light. If they both score a touch simultaneously, we'll see green and red.
We've touched on this before, Terrence, but once again, because in the épée, any portion of your body is a valid touch point, does that alter your stance as opposed to, say, the saber or the foil, because you want to leave as little as possible of yourself exposed?
Well, once again, because of that big bell guard and because the closest target is the hand, each of the fencers will be having a stance that protects their hand as best as they can. Also, they're going to watch out for their legs and their toes because the toes target. Right now, the two fencers are awfully close to one another. There's soon an action really is going to erupt right here.
And back on the other strip, it is 3-1. You don't have to pan over there. There's a break going on. 3-1 in favor of the Princeton fencer, Winkmann, who's very deceptive. I saw him. We were checking out his bout across the way with his teammate Klaus, and he was down in a big way, but he rallied, and he's a very deceptive fighter. He's talking with his coach right now.
This will make that match interesting because both of them are calm, both of them are smart fencers. As you can tell, the score of their bout is only, I think it's 3-1. 3-1. So it's a low-scoring bout, meaning that each of the fencers are trying to use strategy and advantage and tactics to their best use. It's not going to be a fast and furious bout. They're trying to outsmart each other, trying to outwit each other, and determine what is the best tactic to employ with their opponent.
So right now, as you see on the right, is Dave Rosenberg from North Carolina. He's facing Ben Millett from Penn State on the left. The winners of each of these bouts that you're watching will face off in the finals in the gold medal match. The losers will face off for the bronze medal. So we have a quick break here. You see Rosenberg, who's had problems with cramping in his legs as they're getting kneaded out by his coach all day. It's going to be refreshing and re-energizing to a fencer to have this 1-minute interlude in order to charge up the batters again. You can see that Rosenberg is squirming in pain right now.
I've been there before. I know what it's like. What happens is you go a whole long day, you're using your legs, you're sitting in this awfully weird position, and the muscles just begin to tighten up. Perhaps Mr. Rosenberg didn't drink enough water during the day. Perhaps he's not conditioned as well. the tension, the excitement of being here in the top 4 of this NCAA national competition, folks. This is the same thing that you're seeing in basketball. This is Division I NCAA national competition. So Mr. Rosenberg's fatigue is probably due into some part, John, to the excitement of being here in this top 4.
Meanwhile, on the other strip, David Ensign trailing the impressive Harald Winkmann from Princeton. Ensign from Yale University. He's trailing 3 touches to 2. Once again, the winners of both of these bouts will face each other for the gold medal in the men's épée.
In this match, Mr. Ensign on your right, Mr. Winkmann on your left. They're both tall fencers. They're both long. They both have a lot of reach. Right there, you saw Mr. Winkmann making a lunge that fell short. There's another lunge that fell short. Oh, Mr. Winkmann scoring that touch, putting his arm out, lifting his mask up. That red light indicates that Mr. Winkmann did score a touch. Sometimes in between touches, you'll see the fencers, John, testing their weapons. They just want to make sure that their weapon's working. The last thing they'd want to happen is if their weapon didn't work and they went and their opponent scored a touch without them knowing that their weapon didn't work. So between touches, you'll see sometimes those lights go off. That's just the fencer testing the weapon, making sure that it works.
And in some cases, it can be an idiosyncrasy, like a ball player, tugging on his belt. I won't say where else, but and different, whether it's spitting or what have you, or adjusting the lid of the cap, or adjusting your shoulder pads, and it's just an idiosyncrasy that the fencer likes to do in order to make himself feel more comfortable.
That's right. They're just devices that the fencer uses to stay focused, to stay concentrating, to feel good about themselves, and to make sure that they're present on the strip. There, Mr. Ensign was able to score a touch, making it 3-4. Oh.
Panning left here, Pete. We get Rosenberg is down. Boy, he's having problems all day, Terrence. He's had problems with his legs. Right now it's a 4-4 match, and there's a timeout taken. What goes on now for the officials?
What goes on, and this is a tough position for the official, for the coach, for the fencer, for the trainer. According to the rules, a fencer cannot claim an injury as a result of a cramp. A cramp is not an injury. An injury is if the fencer were to twist an ankle, if the injury were to be cut in some fashion or another, but a fencer cannot stop the bout because of a cramp. If indeed the trainer determines that the fencer cannot continue to fence, John, Mr. Rosenberg will have to forfeit this match as well as the match for the bronze medal, and just have to be happy with 4th place.
Yeah, it looks as though it's his right knee, and it looks to be the medial collateral ligament from the outer knee as they're getting it worked over. Meanwhile, so Rosenberg's down on the strip here, being attended to. What about the other one, the other person that he's going at, Ben Millett from Penn State? What does he have to do except walk around, huh?
Ben Millett is waiting to see what the outcome, what the trainer is going to say, what the official is how the official is going to determine how to handle the situation. He's got to be thinking that he's got the score tied. His opponent is in trouble, so he can't help but feeling good at this point, but wondering, a little anxious to know what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah, and he gets to put his warm-up jacket back on. It's almost like a pitcher in the dugout, so this is going to take some time. Meanwhile, back on the other strip, as they are still underway, they're starting to make some noise. David Ensign now is trailing by 2 touches, 7-5, is Winkmann, who has been very impressive in my eyes, Terrence. And again, I'm a novice. I'll be the first to admit it. But here's a guy we didn't really give much of a chance at the beginning of the tournament. And right now, he's only 8 touches away from going into the gold medal round.
That's right, John. John, you've got a great eye, actually. Mr. Winkmann is fencing a spectacular bout here. There, the official Shandor Kish from the Soviet Union, although a red light was on the machine, he determined that the fencer was off the strip, meaning that he was not on that copper area, that playing field, when that touch was scored, when that red light went off. Therefore, the touch does not stand, John.
Now, what about Winkmann? Now his number is draped now off of his thigh. Does the official, the director, stop the bout in order to have that reattached, or... As you can see, he's looking down at it, because that's got to be a distraction to the other fencer. That's what I'm leading to.
It certainly is a distraction, and I think the official should recognize that and ask the fencer to either take the number off or to straighten it. Perhaps the official hasn't recognized it yet, or just doesn't want to disrupt the flow of the bout. But yeah, it certainly looks a little funny there hanging, doesn't it, John?
Absolutely. Looks like a pair of the hand-me-down pants I used to get from my older brothers. 8-5 is the score. Winkmann with a 3-touch lead over Ensign. A good little exchange there, forcing the fencers to the side of the strip.
Yes, if the fencers go off the strip, the official, the referee standing out there, will call a halt. Now, they've finished the second 3-minute period at this point. There's a 1-minute break. You can see the coaches walking up to the fencers. Henry Hartunian talking to David Ensign on our right. Very passionate coach from Yale University, a long history. In fact, Maestro Hartunian was a coach here at Brandeis University back in the 60s, and he then went to Yale University. The coach of Princeton talking very calmly to Mr. Winkmann, who at this point is in control of the match, and it'll be interesting to see how this last 3 minutes goes.
Meanwhile, back in the other strip, Rosenberg has been helped to his feet. He's gimpy. He's in trouble. There's no doubt about it. 4-4. He's got to be literally handicapped in this particular match now, and I'm sure that Millett wants to fillet him or put him out on the skew.
Fillet is a good way to put it, John. At this point, Mr. Rosenberg is just going to have to use his brain. He's not going to be physically at his best. It looks like his leg is bothering him. It looks like he's going to try to finish the match. Whether that's a good idea or not, I think the trainer, Rick Burr, who's an excellent trainer, John Rick is the trainer here at Brandeis University. He's been here for a number of years. He is one of the best around. He's
an innovator when it comes to sports medicine and treatment of sports injuries, from what I've been told.
This is true. This is very correct. He is on the cutting edge of new techniques, particularly rehabilitation techniques for athletes, and he does a tremendous job getting the Brandeis athletes who are injured back out onto the playing field. Let's take a second. Why don't you pick up that other weapon, John?
Okay. All right. I feel like we'll need some rotisserie chicken here.
Okay. And actually, even before we do that, I'm going to take the mask up. The mask, which you see in front of you, this is what the fencers wear. This is what protects us. I'd like you to take a look. I'm going to walk forward with the mask, and I want you to see what it's like to look outside of this mask. So here I come, and as you look through this mask, you're going to feel like all of a sudden you've entered inside of a fish. It's really a strange feeling looking outside of this mask. We fence so much, John, that we don't even notice all of this mesh. But I'm sure if you were looking through that mask just a minute ago, the world was going to look pretty grainy because it was going to have all this mesh, all of these little holes in front of it.
The chain link fence effect.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to pick up.
Make sure I have the right grip. Now, I have the left-handed one because I am a left-hander. So am I holding it properly, or is it... Maybe we can let's show Pete here and the folks at home.
John's going to put his thumb up there on the top, his second finger here, and wrap his fingers around there. That's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good, John.
Yeah, okay. Feel good.
Now, let's see if we can kind of position ourselves such that we can give a little demonstration here.
Should I put on the mask?
Sure. So John's putting on the mask here. Looks like a fencer to me. All right. Now, I'm going to stand back here a little bit, and I'm going to hold my weapon because this is also a left-handed weapon. And let's get on guard. John's been practicing his on guard, folks. So he's gonna get on guard with his left foot forward, and here we are standing against each other. Now, the closest target to John, the thing that he's gonna try to hit first, is my hand, which I'm raising. So, for example, if I go all the way to try to go to John's body to try to hit him in the chest, he's gonna be able to hit me before because he's a little bit longer. He might also try to hit me on the hand. So it's a lot like a billiard game in some regards. You're looking at the angle, you're looking to see what target your opponent is going to, and then either hitting or parrying. Why don't you make a thrust towards my target? Now I have parried him, and now I can thrust and kill him. So John, there certainly are. What John was asking me is, what do I do if I know my opponent wants to parry? Remember, the parry is a block. So John is actually, just like in boxing, which we have a feint, John's going to make a feint, and as I begin to make a parry, he's going to go around my blade, John. Oh, and I impale myself because he was so clever. Thanks a lot, John. You really are an athlete.
That's good. So we're standing